Hi, welcome or welcome back to Pope's Plates. I'm so glad that you're here, and if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. Today we're going to be making biscuits and gravy. I'm going to put the recipe in the description box below because I'm actually doubling it for something else that we're making. We're going to begin with 4 cups, which it would normally be 2 cups of flour. Now, hear me out. I thought this was crazy. There are 8 teaspoons of baking powder. I thought it would taste bitter, and it doesn't. There are 4 in my regular biscuits. So I'm going to put 8 in here. Again, I thought it sounded crazy. I think I put a little bit too heaping, so I'm only put 7. Also, baking is not my forte because I tend to be like, oh, that'll be enough. It'll be fine. Sometimes it isn't. All right. So then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. This is what really makes it bitter. And if you get them mixed up, which I've done before, it does not taste great. Now, I use one of these. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called a pastry cutter. To cut in my butter. If you don't have one of those, you can use 2 knives and just cut it, but it will take a long time. You can also use an electric mixer. However, the butter needs to stay really cold, and it doesn't always stay really cold when you use the electric mixer. So I'm going to begin, and you want to cut it a little bit before you put it in, just because it makes it easier for you to cut. Oh, this is why I wear an apron, because I get powder everywhere. As you can tell, this is not necessarily a health food, especially since we're going to make sausage gravy. This is one of the go-tos when I am late for work, coming home and need to make dinner. I have a long day on Thursdays, and we have breakfast for dinner a lot on Thursdays. The biscuits, the prep time is maybe 7 or 8 minutes. The cook time is obviously longer. And it's just easy. Throw it in the oven, and you're good to go. Okay. Be very careful of this. These are very sharp, the little tongs. I look like, oh, cute. What is that character? Wolverine. See what I look like. But as you can see, the butter kind of sticks to this. Do not use your fingers to get it off. These are very sharp. So I'm going to just keep cutting this in until the butter is pea-sized. And so I'm going to do that, and I will get back to you when that is finished.
A few moments later.
Okay, we're going to add, because we doubled this, about a teaspoon of salt. I like to add honey rather than sugar to mine. There's a pinch of sugar, and it just makes it taste a little, I don't know, it's a little sweeter. So I'm going to add a tiny bit of that in. I'm going to say that's about a tablespoon. And the final thing we add is 1.5 cups, because we doubled it, or 3/4 of a cup of heavy whipping cream or milk or buttermilk. I have a mixture of heavy whipping cream and milk. Now, I have found, depending on the weather, you may need a little more milk. So I added a little bit less than I needed to, and it made a giant mess. And I'm going to start mixing it. And this I usually end up using my hands. So I'm going to move this. You may be able to see that it's not coming together yet. So I'm going to start adding, and you don't want to say, oh, I need a whole lot more. I'm going to start adding just a little bit at a time and mixing it in and seeing how that does. I think I'm about to have to break out my hands. Yep. All right. Oh, yeah. Charlie's very interested. This recipe, I don't even know where I found it, but I printed it out and I taped it to the back of one of my cabinets because I used it so often. And I basically have it memorized, but because we're doubling it, I didn't want to chance putting the wrong amount in. All right, I'm going to get this mixed in. I'm going to add a little bit more milk, and when we're ready to roll it out, we'll be back with you. All right, I am going to take maybe a third of this and put it back in the bowl. A little bit more than that. And we're going to put it in the refrigerator because we're going to use it later. Mom, do you want to put that in the refrigerator? Now I'm going to move my cutting board. And I'm going to flour my work surface a little bit. And then I'm going to flour the top of the biscuit dough. My hands are a disaster, people. All right. So I'll roll both directions a little bit away from me. All right. So I have rolled this out. This biscuit cutter is, I don't know how many years old it is. It belonged to a good friend of mine's grandmother. You can see our biscuits are just adorable. And I'm going to put them in a cast iron skillet. That's just the way I prefer to make them. Now, what you have to do is kind of regather it. Should have cut it out on the sides a little bit more. All right. And it's great because you can see the butter, which is exactly what we want. All right. You've got room for one more. Okay, so we're going to put this in the refrigerator in a minute so that the butter keeps. Our oven is set to 425. These are going to cook for anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes. And so we'll be back to you when they're finished, when they're out.
Friends, I realized I forgot to put an egg wash on these, so I took them out and put an egg wash on the top.
All right, everybody, our timer just went off. Let's get these biscuits out of the oven. These are, that's hot. Hot. These are beautiful. These might be the prettiest biscuits I've made. You'll see the picture in the thumbnail. Once this, Alexa, stop. Thank you so much. Once this cools, we'll go ahead and make our sausage gravy, and then we'll put our breakfast together. Our biscuits are ready, so we are going to start our sausage gravy. And I am going to turn on this eye. I'm going to try. There we go. On about medium. Now I have sort of poked a hole in this sausage, and I poke a little bit bigger hole. I'm sure that's not the way Island Garden does it, and we are not Okay, first, this is mild. I am not a spicy any kind of person. And we are not going to drain this. We are going to use the grease from this to make our gravy. Usually, if you're making like a roux or any gravy like this, you put butter. Well, we're not going to need butter because we're going to have the sausage grease. Put that over to the side. This is so easy. It has 5 ingredients. Well, I usually don't even put salt in it. It has this sausage. Charlie's licking the oven. It has sausage, flour, half and half, or milk, salt, and pepper. But I don't even always put salt in mine. So we're going to get this heated up, and then I will show you how we make our gravy to put on our biscuits. Our sausage has cooked, and I have turned the heat down. I'm going to add, I eyeball this, and so I'll tell you what I add. This is 1 package of sausage, and I'm going to add 4 heaping, like, dinner teaspoons. I would say maybe it's a little over 1/4 of a cup. Now, it is important that it's going to look weird. It is important that you cook this for a while to get the flour flavor out. It feels like we don't have quite enough fat. So I'm going to add just a little bit of butter. Yeah, that's going to melt right in. That is, and I only added maybe a teaspoon of butter. All right, now I'm gonna have my mom come over on the other side so that you can see this. Okay, our heat is on maybe 4, medium. So I'm going to add a large pinch of pepper because this is basically pepper gravy. And then I'm going to add half and half milk or heavy cream. So I'm going to say 3/4 of a cup, maybe a little bit more, maybe a cup. Now I'm going to turn the volume. I'm going to turn it up because in order for this to thicken, we're going to need it to be at a boil. And you'll see it's crazy how it thickens. All right, it's already getting thicker, and it's not at a boil yet. Okay, believe it or not, I'm going to add a little bit more pepper because I want to be able to see the pepper. All right. You see very quickly we have a gravy consistency. Make sure everything there's no flour, extra flour, and that's it. Let me see it. It's easy and it's delicious, and it's one of our favorites. Okay, our biscuits are fluffy and delicious. We're gonna open one of those up. Oh, it looks so beautiful. So I'm gonna put some gravy on our biscuit. You can almost make this like a sandwich. Beautiful. The rest I'm going to put in a bowl. This is great if you have a big family breakfast. Let us know what your favorite breakfast foods are. Tell me what you like to make, what your family favorites are. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe and we'll see you again soon. Let's keep cooking.